Hey man, I'm Jusko from ProudMoney.com. Well, word came out on Friday that Curve, the one card to rule them all, is essentially closing down all of its accounts here in the US. Now, technically, some people got an email that said their credit limits are going to be decreased to $100, and they will keep that $100 credit limit through July 7th. I'm not really sure who that helps or what the idea is behind that, but that's what they're doing. As for me, I got the email from Curve that my account is being closed down to inactivity, and inactive it definitely was. I used it a couple times when Curve first came out, but in the end, Curve could not get Visa on board as one of the card networks, and so if you're going to have a sort of one card to rule them all, but Visa is not part of it, where does that leave you? Now, oftentimes when we have a situation like this, if it is a startup, they will say, well, we're going to come back, we're retooling, and we're going to be back with you, and then you never hear from them again. And Curve is essentially doing the same thing here, saying this is a temporary pause, and we don't plan to be gone for long. Normally, I would not hold my breath to ever hear of Curve, at least here in the United States again, but on the same day those emails came out to customers, a press release was issued by Curve announcing a new CEO for the US market, which is a very strange thing because it obviously means that there is some idea that Curve is still going to do something in the future. Now, I don't know if Curve raised a certain amount of money and maybe they haven't gone through all that money yet and they're going to try and, make one last-ditch effort to figure out how to sort of crack the US market, but they obviously haven't given up completely, or you wouldn't announce a new CEO on the same day that you're essentially telling everybody your card is over. If Curve does come back, I have to imagine it is going to be significantly different. If you think about the idea of one card to rule them all, it's sort of antiquated at this point because we already have Apple Pay, we've got Google Wallet, you put all your cards together into the wallet on your mobile phone and you use your phone essentially as a credit card. So do we need one physical credit card that has all of the other cards that you have on it, and you end up using an app that is on your phone even to control some of that card from Curve or probably anybody else that would go down this path again. So what's the point of trying to compete against Apple Pay and Google Wallet from two huge companies that already have their fingers all in everyone's phones? I don't know how you're going to do it. I know Curve had some fans here in the US, and it sounds like it has been fairly successful in the UK, but when you look at their business model, it requires many transactions that they take a very small piece of in order to be successful. And when you look at Apple with Apple Pay, Google with Google Wallet, it may be the same business model, but it's not their main business. And so they can have this be a business that makes very little money in the short term, but it is part of the whole tapestry of all the services and products that they offer while they try to sort of keep you in their ecosystems. There isn't a larger Curve ecosystem. This is their business model. And so to try to go toe-to-toe with Apple and Google, who don't really need to make much money on these things in order to be successful because they make so much money in other places, that's a hard road to hoe. The one upside for Curve in the US might be that most people in the US have no idea that they existed in the first place. After making a little bit of a splash when they came into the country, they kind of went radio silent. Even as a customer, I rarely heard from Curve. They didn't really market to me very hard to try to get me to use the card. There weren't any special offers or anything like that. So I never felt like Curve was working that hard to get my business. Felt a little bare bones behind the scenes, and in fact the only communication that really stands out to me from Curve was the one that told me that their card issuing partner Hatch Bank had had a security incident and that my personal information may have been leaked to who knows who, and so that's not exactly the impression that you want to leave with your customers. So it'll be interesting to see if Curve comes back, and if they do come back, are they going to have a whole new business model and give it a go with whatever venture capital money they still have left. Would love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching, and as always, please go to ProudMoney.com where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. If you are not going to go to the website or leave a comment, you might want to watch this video next.